Where did you go? Hey, everyone. I'm here with Lynda Switzer. Hi, Lynda.
Hey, David.
I spelled with a Y, 𝘰𝘰𝘰𝘴. It took me a long time to get that.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Because you corrected me a few times on the spelling, you know. So in case you guys are wondering, I'm not outdoors in Calgary.
Right? Because I posted today on social media the meme. I do
Lots of green grass where I am.
Where the air hurts my face.
Yes. Well, I don't even know where I am actually. I'm on the Sunshine Coast, north of Gibson's, on my way to Powell River, waiting for a ferry. And Lynda, it's just great to have you join me today. And you know, the purpose of these, I've been doing them for, started in early January, was just to try to lift people up a little bit, you know. And a lot of us, I'll include myself, have been kind of like, holy shit, when is this going to be over? So I just thought if we did some, you know, if the folks that I know got to talk to the people that watch, you know, and just to tell a little bit of your story, and we'll lift some folks up. And you know, it's been fun. I started out, I thought, well, I wonder who might be interested in that. And nobody that I've contacted said no. Everybody said, yes, okay, let's do that. And some of our friends, Alice and what's her name? Amy Thiessen. Amy sang for us. And there's been a bunch, what's her name? Black.
Mira.
Yes, Mira, that's right.
We'll play a game. You say their last name and I'll say their first name.
and more and more. It's a friend from Bali, and it's been great. So I'm glad that we got to spend this time together. So you're obviously home today. And yes.
Yeah, well, you know, right now my walk is being cleared by this gentleman who I pay to do so, looks like, and it's super freezing cold here. I woke up this morning and my phone told me, my weather app told me that it feels like -42. And I said, that's when I posted the meme that said, why do I live where the air hurts my face? Honestly. You know, where it hurts to breathe.
It feels cool here. It's about +4 or 5.
You poor thing. We're just playing a violin for you.
It's fun that you might be interested in the place out here. It's just beautiful. It really is. You know, this is a lot of rainforest, and you know, we're right, you know, in the Gulf. These are kind of the Gulf Islands here, aren't they too? I don't know the name of this area much. I don't know about the geography that much, but it's sure beautiful.
Yeah, the islands between Vancouver and Vancouver Island are the Gulf Islands for sure.
Yes, you know, and they go north a long way.
Yeah, and then it turns into the Queen Charlotte's, I think, if we're doing a geography lesson. But I don't know where
you sailed in here, have you?
I have. You were surprised to find out that I love sailing. I'm surprised.
Yes, because I was just thinking, like 2 hours ago, when I was in Gibson's Landing on the wharf, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to post, who do we know that loves to sail? Literally.
Wow.
And because I want to find some sailing friends, and I love to sail, and I need to put it out there because, you know, I want a deep water sail, like really where you don't see the land for 5-10 days, you know.
Oh, wow. That's courageous.
Nothing in a bigger boat. When did you start sailing?
I had moved to, I'm not an original Albertan. I'm from Ontario. So I grew up on and near the water, near the St. Lawrence, where my parents are, speaking of my parents, who are doing well. They survived, of course, COVID, which is a good news story.
Yes. I remember that last time we talked, you were pretty concerned, and you know, your mom was coming through like a trooper.
It was a big deal. And I really think that two things got them through. Certainly not the healthcare system. If I have some disparaging things probably to say about that would offend people, but my parents have strong faith,
Yes.
and they have a tremendous bond. And so when my dad, according to my mom, and I could hear it in her tone, even though it was a text she sent me the day she said, Papa says we're going to be okay. And I don't know why she called him Papa to me, because I never called him that, but the grandkids, I guess, because
Yeah.
that's all their world. And so anyway, I think that him saying that and having the confidence like that and leading like that was reassuring to her. And then the way that they support each other. And it was really a blessing that my mom was about 5 days ahead of my dad in the process, because by the time my dad had the worst of it, my mom was well enough to take care of him. And of course, my absolute sweetheart of a best friend from high school, Denise, brought them food. And she's just an amazing cook and puts so much love into her cooking. And she felt so helpless, you know, that she said that anything that she could do to help that made her feel less helpless was she was down for it. And so she would bring food to them that she had made. And my mom just kept putting it in the freezer because, you know, they were so ill, they couldn't actually eat. But afterward, I got the word from my mom, because we talked about this, about how that had been for her. And here is what she said. When my girlfriend brought the food over, she would put it by the door and ring the bell, and then she would retreat onto the driveway. And they live on an acreage, you know, something like out at Springbank in a really big open area, and lots of trees and stuff like that. And so they have a huge driveway, and she would go back to her car and stand by her car, outside of her car, and wait to see somebody, mom or dad, come to the door, and to look each other in the eyes and to smile and to wave. And my mom said that it just made her feel like somebody cared. Somebody knew that they were there and they were fighting, and that they
just felt the emotion.
Yeah. And so they couldn't eat the food to save their lives because they were so ill. And my dad's stomach is still not right. He's got lingering digestive issues. And my mom has lingering lung issues, which is not a huge surprise. She had some lung issues before, and a frailty there. And so, but these things that we consider intangibles are what support us and help us in these times of trouble and need, and really keep us going, you know, like my dad having that faith to say to my mom, we're going to be okay. And
love is the magic.
That's it.
Love is the power.
That's it. Because that was all love. That was just my girlfriend loving on them, you know. She lives so close by, and she and I could not be there. And
your love was coming through her.
Absolutely. I phoned her in desperation and I said, can you please be me? I know you can't go there and stay with them. And she says, but I can cook for them because that's what I do. That's how I love on people. Yes. And anyway, they felt that. So, you know, they're suffering, like lots of people are, from the social isolation, because now, you know, we're getting close to a year, and there's been very little contact, and not the same Christmas and not the same Thanksgiving and not the same everything that we're used to and we love and want to have. And they're challenged by it because they're social. We're all social beings. Like even if we're introverted, we're social beings, right?
Yes. You know, on this trip, and in the fall, I came out a couple of times. Actually last year I was on the West Coast about 4 or 5 times, and I always stayed at my daughter's, and something that my son-in-law's employer found out that that both myself and my other son had been there at Christmas time, and they got upset with him, you know, and suggested that he don't have company coming and staying at his house, and so I'm on this trip, and for the first time I couldn't go and visit with them, and that was hard. Like it really pushed me through a whole bunch of stuff, you know, that didn't have anything to do with them in a way, but it was my stuff around. First of all, I don't like to be told what I can and can't do.
Not many of us do. So that's another reason this whole situation is very confronting for individuals right now.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, yesterday I went to Squamish, but I didn't go to the house. I mean, Emily came and met me in a coffee shop, and you know, we went to see the kids when they got out of school, the grandkids, you know, in the playground, and you know, they're 7. They gave me about 30 seconds attention.
Right, but you could see them, you watch them.
Yeah, they didn't realize Grandpa needed a little loving. And so yeah, that it is a, you know, that's going on, you know, all kinds of stuff. And we'll come back to this, but again, tell me about your sailing.
Yeah, so I moved here because skiing, I think.
Yes.
And met a boy or something. Anyway, ended up moving.
The Blue Mountains weren't enough.
No, close. Oh my goodness. And ended up moving to Alberta. And I remember saying to my husband, like, if I have to stay here, you know, then I'd really like to be like on the water, which not too possible in Calgary, or a view of the mountains. So we did buy a house that had a view of the mountains, which was lovely and wonderful. And I really, really appreciated and enjoyed that when I had it. And then I said to him, so can we take vacations that are near water? So we did a lot of stuff south, and we did, when we got our dog, we did 𝘓𝘺𝘥𝘥𝘢 Beach. We would rent a cottage that was pet friendly with our dog, Vegas, and
Nice.
spent a lot of time on the water. And then I said to him, look, I need to be more on the water, because I grew up boating and cottaging and
Yeah.
Skiing, water skiing and swimming and all that stuff. And so I said, why don't we take sailing lessons? So, you know, happy wife, happy life, right? So he said, sure. And so he let me enroll us, and I found us a school that was really great. And we did an on-water component in Penticton for the weekend. Yes. Like an extra long weekend, and there was some home study, and then on board for the certified day skipper. So we did that, and then we did our coastal nav courses by going to the U of C. I don't know how many months in once a week, and tons of charting and graphs and calculations and plotting and all the manuals and how to read the tide tables and current tables and all that stuff. And then we lived on board for a week. We left from Sydney on the island, and we sailed the Gulf Islands for a whole week on board. And it was live on board, learn on board, and wow, plotting our course and doing all that. And it was absolutely brilliant, amazing. Such a I just, as soon as, I don't know what it feels like for you, when you hit the water, like when you're on a boat on the water, what is the somatic experience? Like, what are the sensations in your physical body when that happens?
Well, what comes to me right now is that I seem to almost kind of flatten out. It's like you know, I become part of the water. It's a real connection that happens, and that I feel, you know.
Yeah. For me, my heart rate slows down, and I, like when you describe that flattening feeling, like I feel very calm.
Yes.
And extremely free. As soon as we start to move and there's wind in my hair and I can feel the sun hopefully on my skin, I feel so free. I feel so free.
Nice. Yeah. There's a freedom for sure.
Yeah. So I've wanted to buy you know, a hole in the water that you put money into and burn for a long time, a really long time, like more than I ever wanted a hole in the ground that you put money into and just burn, which is a house.
There's a lot of boats around right now. There's going to be some smoking deals.
It's a lot of maintenance. Are you handy? I need somebody handy.
Of course I'm handy. Of course, I could earn my keep, yes.
Okay. Because you got to be handy. If you're going to own a boat, you got to be handy. You got to be very,
and there's tons of there's a lot of boats around. A lot of people are downsizing their lives, you know, and there's going to be a lot of that.
Hey, have you so have you got any formal training?
No, I sailed as a kid, and I've sailed some in my adult life, and I don't have formal training, but that would be the next step. I almost did in Sydney. I was going to go with David Holloway and a couple of guys, and it just didn't come together for me. And he went, and but no, I don't have formal training. I mean, no, I know my way around the boat pretty well. You know,
Right.
I know the starboard side. You know, I know where we're going. You know, but I don't know. I might be a liability in the beginning, but I'm a quick learner.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever sailed around Calgary?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not true. That's not true. No, years ago, yes, I did. I've sailed the Glenmore Reservoir, but you know that doesn't count really, does it?
Oh yeah, it does. Hold on. Why not?
Well, it's just so small.
Okay, so it is small. However, what is great about the Glenmore Reservoir is you learn some mad skills, because the wind that funnels down that corridor
Yes.
can be intense.
Yes.
And also, just like the weather in Calgary, you know, they say wait 5 minutes, it'll change. You don't like it?
Yeah.
And that happens on the water. And so this past summer, well, they opened the reservoir really late because of you know, C-19. And so we didn't get on the water until the beginning of July. But from the 3rd of July until the 2nd of September, I sailed 29 times.
Wow.
And that's 3 to 6 hours each time. And it's all in the logbook. It's all recorded. But
so what size boat?
26, 24, something like that.
So you weren't out by yourself?
No, I have a sailing buddy, a friend who's got a boat, who's handy, and it's also his boat. And we had a tornado warning the one day, hail, unbelievable hail. I mean, 80-kilometer-an-hour winds came in. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff happened, like a lot of stuff. We had to beach it about 3 times in order to change the sails, because when you're out there and those big winds are going, a huge big sail is very interesting and fun, but also dangerous and scary sailing. So I learned a lot.
Ghost Dam, did you do Ghost Dam as well?
Ghost is another place where my sailing instructor said, if you can sail Ghost Lake, you can sail anywhere.
Wow.
That's how crazy the winds coming down that Bow Valley corridor are.
Yes. Wow.
And some big stuff has happened there. And, you know, I don't know if deaths, but I heard some really great sailing stories regaled about rescues and such, for sure. But
well, we need a boat in the Pacific. And it's right here. I can see it. Look, just a second. There it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's the Pacific for all to see. Isn't it beautiful?
Gorgeous. I miss it. You know, I was in Vancouver for 2 months this winter, right?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you staying? You have friends?
I happen to have friends who have residences that they were not occupying.
Wow.
And so I got to stay a month in Kits and a month in Yaletown.
Nice. Nice.
It's not too shabby, I'm not going to lie. Very fortunate. Very fortunate. And what happened is I fell a little bit or a lot in love.
Yes. Well, I just left there this morning. It was so gorgeous. You know, I was there the last 3 nights at a friend's place, and just up off of Broadway and Spruce area, you know.
Oh, yeah. So you were in Kits?
Yeah, really close to Kits. I don't know if we'd still call that Kits, but it's very close.
Yeah, that bar maybe.
And you know, yes, I left the day it got cold, Saturday. Yeah.
Did you drive?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I drove them one day, and you know.
How were the roads?
Stayed up late. Oh, fine for me. I never, you know, I got a little Ford Escape and good winter tires, and I just, you know, fly. and they were fine. I it's kind of, I don't really give it much thought, just I'm just yeah, in the zone, and was happy to be. As soon as I got to past Revelstoke, right, it's we're in another world, and starting to green up, and it's good from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the only tough thing I think was I like to go through Cache Creek and down the old number one, and it was raining and dark, and that was a little testy, more than the snowy covered roads in the daytime, the dark and the rain, and but I'm happy to be out here. My brother is in Campbell River, and he's a little older than I, and he's going in a couple of days for he has to go to the hospital for some eye surgery, something with his eye, and so I'm coming out to go and take him to the hospital and hang out with him for a couple of days after, and do what family does, right? I think, and happy to be, to be coming here for sure. But I have when I was standing on the dock a couple hours ago in Gibson's, and I love Gibson's Landing. I've been there quite a few times, and I'm thinking, damn, I don't really need to be anywhere else,
Right.
I'm doing a lot of this video stuff, and I'm going to do start a Patreon channel. I have one, but I've shot it past a number of people, and they've said, David, do it, and we love what you're doing. We watch you every day. We'll throw in, and I've just kind of decided I'm going to build the channel bigger, and we have a global audience now.
I just looked it up to see if I could cast it to my Facebook, and I think you've called me Russell Price. People, I don't.
Oh, that's not right. Okay, I thought I got it changed.
No,
don't do that.
I'll have it. Oh yeah. Okay. There you go.
I'll fix that. I thought I reposted it. It shouldn't be Russell Price. Russell, I interviewed Russell a couple of days ago in Bali, and oh, my apologies, love. I'll change it as soon as we're done. Okay. I can't really change it now.
Can't change it now. Okay. No. So I won't share it to my.
No, what I'd love you to do is once I get the YouTube version cleaned up, and we'll put some content in it. Yeah. Maybe you can send me a bio and a few things. And
I you know what, I've got my bio and everything, and my links all good, because I'm teaching at a nonviolent communication conference this year. Again, it's my third year doing it, actually. So it's been usually traditionally the Alberta Nonviolent Communication Conference, but this year they're calling it Rocky Mountain, and it's got a very long name. It sounds very prestigious, but what's great about C19 and everything online is what you said, we'll have an international world audience now, because people can come, and we've got 10 trainers. So I'll be there teaching 2 classes. It goes Saturday and Sunday, and beginning of April, that's what I was grabbing my phone for when you first went live. I went to get my phone to grab it to see the calendar. So April 10th and 11th are the dates for that. And I'll be teaching a couple of workshops, one each day. Yes. So I was working on those workshops today, earlier, reading Marshall Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication, Language of Compassion book. I was watching, he's got so many YouTube videos as well, lots of them. And I watch those all the time. And anyway, so I've been focused on that. And,
nice. As soon as you can send me that, because I'll have this up and ready on YouTube in an hour after we finish.
Awesome. I can just send it to you. And then also working on, I'm still teaching Tantra. I say I'm still teaching it. I've just been doing private things for people when it was allowed, when we could do some things, and also doing things online for couples. And so it's Valentine's Day. And of course, I don't know if you know this, but I think Valentine's was my very first ever tantric puja, or guided tantric journey, or celebration, or whatever you want to call it, ceremony that I led. Yes. And so this is our anniversary of it. And I kept waiting. I had so much resistance, you know, and I know I watch a lot of your videos, and I see you process yourself through your emotions like you did today. I saw most of the one from earlier as well.
Okay.
And yeah, about your family upset. I think it's your therapy, David. I think this medium is your therapy. I figured that out. From watching that was my conclusion.
It's really quite something, because some of what came out in that video earlier, I mean, it wasn't there when I sat down.
Yeah.
You know, it all kind of lined up. I've been going through it for almost 24 hours, and maybe, well, I've been going through it maybe for 3 or 4 days, and on my way driving out here, but then yesterday to go out there and actually, you know, not be able to go to the house and all of that, it just became so real, and it has nothing to do with her. I mean, we had coffee, and I said, honey, what your decision is super. It's good. You know, this is just bringing stuff up from my, you know, it's locked in, you know, on a cellular level, and, you know, in my lower back, I think. Wherever, you know what I mean? That's what just came, that it feels like that's kind of where it is. And I was in a bit of an altered state all night, in and out, and lots of, I've been listening to a fellow lately. His name is Andrew Huberman, PhD. And he's a scientist from Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got some great podcasts around moving energy and moving emotion and using the breath. But this guy is Andrew. Last name is Huberman, and really, he's a neurophysicist. You know, all about the brain, and all of it ties together with the emotional, spiritual work I've been doing in the 12 steps. You know, it isn't foreign. They're just kind of now figuring out how it actually works in the brain, you know. And of course, we didn't have the language for most, you know, for the last 3,000 years. So we made it all about spirituality, and I've shifted a lot. You know, I really recognize that God, if you will, is not separate. That we're in it. This is it. We are that. You know, and you know, except we have the ability to think and to create and to really do whatever the hell we want. You know, but so much of it has been restricted by our traumatic view of the world, you know, looking through the screen of fear. And
Which lens are you using today? You put on the love glasses or the fear glasses, and it's gonna definitely impact what you see, right?
Well, yes, and some of it, I mean, most of us have been so unaware, myself included, most of my life, that I didn't know, you know, and that I was looking, that fear was, even if it wasn't really obvious at the front, it was there, you know, and so like things like this trip, you know, I mean, I went right into it. There was part of me that said, oh, I shouldn't even go out there, you know, you know, and I said, no, let's just go and be in it. Let's feel it. Let's move forward. Let's not, you know, and so it was beautiful. And
yeah, I mean, sometimes, and I've posted this in my social media too, like, who's driving the bus, right? Who's driving your bus today? Love or fear? And same idea.
Well, love is Tantra. Love is Tantra. Love says yes.
Yeah. So it's really fast. So speaking of that, and speaking of the physiological stuff that you were describing about being, you know, holding the pain, and I'm sure you've read The Body Keeps the Score, right? If you haven't, you want to.
Body keeps the score.
The Body Keeps the Score. Yeah.
No,
and so talking, I knew you'd ask me that. Vander Leek or something. It's like a name I have a hard time pronouncing, and long. And so you know, we could put that in the comments or something. But
okay.
The Body Keeps the Score, which talks about how what you said, when it's like in my spine and my lower back or wherever. Yep. So talking about, oh, that's a great view. I love that. Thank you. It almost looks like you have a fake Zoom background. Just to be,
no, yeah. I truly don't. There's the fairy.
Right?
You know, when the fairy comes in. But no, isn't it beautiful?
So beautiful. I'm so envious. So anyway, so the somatic impact of what's happening for us emotionally, what's happening for us in our relationships and so on. And, you know, this has been really tough times for people. It's not, you know, it's not easy if you're single, and it's not easy if you're partnered, and it's not easy if you're partnered even if you have a healthy, strong, good relationship. What if you don't have one? What if there's an addict in the house? What if there's abuse? What if there's domestic violence? And so, you know, these situations are, I mean, everything is magnified, amplified, exacerbated with these kind of conditions as pressure cooker, that it seems to be, well, at this point, we don't have an ending point, right? We don't have a date for that. And so people are using a lot of coping mechanisms. I'm sure you're seeing this since you're, you know, because of who you are and what you do. And that numbing that people are doing is scary, right? And I also get that it's a strategy. It's just, it's when we feel completely overwhelmed and we're so out of control, we numb to just not have to deal with that. That's my theory. Do you agree with that? What's your philosophy on
Well,
that?
of course I do. And the reason it felt so good to share this morning was that I didn't do that. I didn't numb. I didn't run away. I didn't say, you know, fight or flight was right there. I could feel it, but I didn't, you know, and I didn't resort to anything to numb, you know, you know, the things that I normally, I mean, it's been a long time since I drank or used, but that was one of my early coping tools, you know, and that I went to for medication, and you know, but in sobriety, there's been other things, food and relationship and sex and all kinds of things that
people do. Lots of things. Absolutely.
Television, my telephone.
Oh, I might have that telephone addiction. Yeah, so I'm super impacted this week. My attitude, my brightness, my, you know, like when you originally asked me to do the interview, I was a heck yes to it, but I was not in a good place. And I wasn't able to really pull it together to do something like this. And I had no idea. Here's the thing. I had no idea that deciding to do a tantric Valentine's date night for couples would change how I feel. And when I wake up in the morning, that I'm excited to jump out of bed, can't wait for my feet to hit the floor and get onto my to-do list of all the things that need to go in place. And like, even though, you know, Rob and I have been talking about it for months, I mean, he's so patient. The man is a saint. He's so sweet. You know, I said to him about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so do you want to do an online tantric event with me? And he goes, yes, Lynda. I said, when do you want to do it? He said, 2 months ago when you asked me the last time, or maybe 2 months before that when you asked me before that. And then I just went, ooh. And I think I didn't even have the realization that I'd been asking him for a long time if he would co-facilitate it with me, like we used to do back, you know, in the before times. And he was always saying yes. He's never said no. And we even spent hours when I was in Vancouver in November and December. We spent hours online doing all kinds of tech stuff, figuring out the music and about the rooms and like all kinds of stuff. And we were so ready to do it. And then I don't know what happened to me, and I just shrunk back. And part of it too was that at first we were ready. We had an event set to go in the fall, and I was going to come back from Vancouver, and we were going to do it live because I had a huge space rented where we could create physical distancing between the groups. The couples would stay together. They'd be masked if they moved to go to the washroom, one, you know, family cohort in the washroom, like all these rules in place, like every single thing that AHS would have possibly needed to conform, and everything ready to go. And boom, got shut down again. Right as I was about to, like, you know, commit to the contract for the rental place, when I had everything written up, all ready to close, slam shut. And I think I just felt discouraged. I felt often very hopeless, helpless, discouraged, and I just wanted to take my ball and go home. You know, I didn't want to play anymore.
Understandable. Yeah, understandable.
Right. And I think I'm by no means alone, and also that doesn't make me feel better.
That's right. Yeah, we can't compare, can we? You know, we can't compare. It's funny that the mind, my mind, wants to compare when awarenesses come in, or something melts like this week, and the mind says, yeah, but other guys got this so long before you, and I'm like, shut up. Just shut up.
I just got the memo.
There is nobody else. It doesn't matter. But mind is like that. It's just it wants to. It's competitive. Where'd that shit come from? But
yeah.
So good for you. So you've got something coming up this weekend?
Yeah. So Sunday night, we're doing a guided tantric journey, a date night for couples. And Rob and I will co-facilitate it like we've done live dozens of times. Yep. And I have attended or facilitated close to 150 of these kinds of ceremonies.
Wow.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes.
Over almost a decade.
Yeah.
So that's a tremendous number of experiences like this. And I feel so enthusiastic and passionate now.
Well, it's important for you, but it's important for the people who come that you do this. People, we're pivoting. We have to find a new way to be together, to connect, to experience each other. People are going out for Valentine's dinner, so I think this is really appropriate and a good time, and it's. I don't think we're ever going back. We're always going to have this now. Online, the online world is going to be part of our future and in a bigger way. And so good for you for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, I had a lot of resistance to it. I've fought it now for almost a year, right? Like, we did our last guided tantric journey in a penthouse suite in downtown Calgary with 100 candles. And we did that on March the 7th, 2020.
Wow.
And a week later, the world changed, right?
Well, it was really close to changing that week.
At least our world here. And yep. That day, there was no conversation. We didn't even have, it wasn't even in the conversation at all about that. And about like, oh, should we do it or should we not do it? That wasn't even a conversation. That wasn't part of our world at all. It wasn't at all part of our world. We sprinkled from about a dozen roses, the petals on the ground, on the carpet, in between the candles. Like, it was so beautiful. It was just, it was one of the most, I love that was our last one that we did live. And I cannot wait to recreate that again when we can gather again, whatever that's going to look like and however that's going to mean that we're going to do it. And whenever it's going to be, I'm going to be there. I know I'm going to, because I know the way it lights me up. And I felt it, this last week with working on it. And Rob said, like, you got a lot of things to do because, like, you kind of left it to the last minute. And I said, but I wake up excited at 7 a.m. Cannot wait to get onto it, because I cannot wait to tell everybody about it and to make it happen and to do it, because I feel this aliveness inside me again that I have not felt for a really, really long time.
Good for you. You're going to bring that juice to that event, and that's exciting. And you need that to, that's the creative, the laser focus makes it happen. So good for you. You're on it.
Yeah. And
you're on it. And, we'll get this out. Hopefully people will hear about it, through this interview and through this time together.
Yeah.
And
what's really cool is I did have people who are friends and people who know me and followed me, or, I've traveled and done Love Smart Card workshops on nonviolent communication with them in other places, even in other provinces. And they're able to attend for the first time ever my event. And this morning, when I got a message on Facebook from one such person, I was very touched. And I finally had like this little appreciation. You can hear my voice starting to crack when I talk about this, but like, it was the moment when I thought, oh, okay, because if it were not for this current conditions and situation, there's no way I would have been doing this online. And those people would have never been able in February to join my guided tantric journey, my date night for couples.
Yep.
No way. And I love them. And I'm so glad that they're going to be able to be part of it and to join. And they would never have driven from where they live in interior BC here, you know, to Calgary to do the event.
Oh,
Never
that's
in a million years.
part of it, isn't it?
Right?
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you. You look over my shoulder. Can you see the ferry coming?
Oh no, I can. The distance is a little out of focus. It's a little white, a little overexposed.
It's coming. I can see it. It's right there. It's in the sunshine. It looks so great. Looks awesome.
So this is not like the 𝘬𝘓𝘳 ferry terminal. This is a very small little ferry.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's only like this ferry comes here 4 times a day.
How many vehicles fit on it?
I don't know, but it's a good sized ferry.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, it's like it looks like it has multiple floors, and I didn't realize. I thought it was just going to be a little like a river ferry, you know, that runs every half an hour, 40 minutes.
My girlfriend told me that the new rules are on the ferry, you have to stay in your vehicle, which is really a mind bender, because
hasn't been the ferry from Horseshoe Bay to Gibson's. Everybody was upstairs.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, and there were no announcements, stay in your car, nothing like that.
Really? Oh, that's new then. Because when she went, she said that she didn't go to the island, mind you, but I thought that she went to Gibson's. She said that they had to stay in their cars because the COVID rules. Unless you were
a couple of times I was on the ferry this summer on my motorcycle, and I walked on once from the Nanaimo, and that they were saying to stay in the car, but lots of people weren't.
Oh, okay.
Saying that it was certainly a possibility, but
right.
But
well, I loved it in BC. I love it there. I haven't spent time in Gibson's. I would like to go to the Sunshine Coast. I've not seen that, and I'm seriously contemplating a move to just try Vancouver for a year.
Yes.
See how I'd like all the rain and stuff. But I mean, I was there through 3/4 of December, all of November, and the last week of October. And I loved it. And I was recovering from my ear surgery. You know, I had a major ear surgery on my middle ear, and I needed to rebuild my strength and my stamina. And so I was walking and cycling every day, like 13 to 30 kilometers.
Nice.
And that helped me so much. That got me and that was partly why I was there, to take time to rehab. And of course I can work remotely. So I was still doing client sessions and everything from wherever I am. I'm always doing that.
Can you see the ferry coming now? Just a second.
Oh yes, now I can. Yep. I can see it.
Seems a longer way away than it is.
So you're going to be on that one? You have a ticket, or you're in line?
I have to run back to my car soon.
All
really
right.
Great having this conversation, and you know, hopefully your weekend that you're doing this weekend goes off really, really well, and the Tantra evening goes off well, and you don't freeze over there, because it is pretty cold. It's chilly here, but a different kind of chilly.
Well, we're doing it indoors, so I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
All right. Listen, love you lots. Thank you. This is fun.
Thanks for the chat. Thanks for inviting me.
I'll repost this and sorry about the name, but we'll change it right away.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, send me your bio. Okay.
They'll be looking like, that is not Rusty.
Okay. Bye, love.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you.